All right, thank you everyone for being here. I'm Zoe Ruderman. I'm the Chief Content Officer with ADWEEK. And as soon as my team said, we need you on a boat talking about shopping, I was like, I'm there. I'm so ready. So thank you for having me. Really excited for this conversation. Maddie, thank you for hosting in your home for the week.
Yes.
And Josh, thank you for being here. Really excited about this conversation. I want to do really quick intros. If you can tell me who you are, what you do, and then the last thing you bought through a shoppable ad, shoppable content, entertainment, TV show, whatever it is.
I got to think about that. My wife, she could answer that question way better than I can because she ends up buying me everything.
Great answer.
Yes,
I like that.
yes.
Yeah.
There is an Amazon truck parked in front of my house 24/7 that they just bring product into my home.
Wait, I thought that was my Amazon truck.
Yeah,
What's it doing
yeah.
at your house?
Yeah. I did tell her that she won Amazon. She completed the challenge. Yeah. No, I'm Matty Beckerman. I'm the CEO and founder of IRCODE. And for those of you who don't know what we do, we are a second screen shoppable experience in this context. But we take any visual image and make it scannable in the real world. We're going to replace how you interact with QR codes, IR codes. It's image recognition code. So that's what we do as a company. So we have a bunch of shoppable TV initiatives that we're doing. So that's why this is so pertinent to our conversation.
Great. Awesome.
I'm Josh Feldman. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at NBCUniversal for the Advertising and Partnership Division. So in essence, anytime an advertiser comes within our world and wants to show up within our IP, whether that's experiential to integrations to custom content to commerce opportunities, it's all a part of my world. And then also run the in-house agency on how we show up at events like Cannes and all our B2B functions. The last thing I bought, is anybody here a fan of The Traders? Does anybody watch The Traders? Okay. So we have an amazing shopping experience around The Traders, and we all know how the owl comes in to give the invite at the beginning. I actually do wear glasses as well as sunglasses. We're selling this amazing owl eyeglass holder, which is the owl from The Traders, and I bought that online because I'm like, owls are cool. So that's the last thing I bought.
I love it. Okay, great. So I want to start talking a little bit about the technology behind IRCODE. You mentioned how this is sort of meant to replace QR codes, which I think we can all agree were pretty limiting and also very frustrating as a consumer or a shopper. So can you talk to us a little bit about how the technology works across platforms and works so seamlessly?
Sure. So the image itself is the code. So you don't have to overlay anything on it. You don't have to actually put anything in it. So no matter where that video or visual or broadcast is, linear TV, CTV, it doesn't really matter because you just scan it and immediately get the information from it. What we do essentially is we take that image and it's a fingerprint. Every image is absolutely unique, and it's a computer vision model. So if you break down an image into just pixels, and you took a color Pantone swatch to it, and each pixel has a code associated with that. As you zoom out, that code forms a fingerprint. And so that's what we're reading. So you don't have to put anything into the image itself. It just works right from that. So that's how the technology works behind it.
And then talk a little bit about it. It isn't just like sort of one for one, like, I see this yacht, I want to buy it. I use use IR code to get it. It can open it up to more content, related shopping, that sort of thing. Yeah, you can point it to whatever destination you want. So you put a website link in there, you put an affiliate marketing link to buy something directly. You can add a whole VR, AR experience right into that. And it's pretty seamless when you dig into it that way. So you could do it's infinite what you could end up triggering with scanning. It's really exciting. So Josh, you've been at NBCU about 10 years now, and you've been on a real journey when it comes to commerce. Can you talk a little bit about sort of how you've brought shopping into the fold with entertainment and how it all started?
Yeah, absolutely. So, going back a number of years ago, we were really, we have the beauty of NBCUniversal is we have mass scale, right? We reach, nearly the entire country every given month. And so it was the idea of bringing shoppable opportunities to the viewers that are already there in the areas that they already love. So making what we do contextually relevant to the programming that they're watching, right? So we're never ever going to put a shoppable opportunity into a program where it has nothing to do with it, right? So the core tenet of what we're doing is making it additive, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you made the joke about how you were excited to talk about shopping, right? Shopping is entertainment for a lot of people. So we just extend that onto the rest of our entertainment programming. So now, you know, from where we started to where we are today, technology like IRCODE and other things like has just really blown up and gotten to a place that it makes it so much easier, right? So the advent of AI to be able to scour programming, we've launched what we call Must Shop TV, you know, playing off of Must Watch TV from all those years ago, that literally the AI will scour all of our programming, and then when you're done watching it on Peacock or whatever it is, you can literally buy either the exact items that you saw in that show or lookalike items in real time. And if you're a real fan of The Traders or Love Island or Bravo or whatever it may be, that's additive to the experience.
Right.
It's not an annoyance.
And let's be real, I think a lot of people already have their phone out as their second screen when they're watching those shows, and maybe they're, I'm speaking about myself now, shopping while watching those, and the old school way of doing it was like maybe take a photo or try to search for it, and pretty
You're 100%
unsatisfying.
correct. The whole idea is make it as frictionless as possible.
Right.
When you make it frictionless, conversion rates go through the roof.
Yep. So, Maddie, let's talk a little bit about how AI incorporates into all of this and how it's serving up a more frictionless experience and, frankly, a more satisfying experience for the shopper.
Yeah, so we just launched Shop TV AI, which, just like Josh was talking about, when you're IR coding now, you could run an AI scan right over that and find every product on the screen or a similar looking one. With that advent, it becomes so easy now to then make sure that the network is able to, you know, show the best possible content that people actually want to engage with quickly. It's ease of use. It's changing that barrier to entry. And now if you could just quickly IR code it, and all those products are actually there immediately, you know exactly what it is. You don't have to spend an hour searching on Google to find that product. It's immediately there. So ease of use and simplicity, and checkout in what you already have. If you have Amazon, if you have Target, if you have Walmart accounts already set up, you don't have to then redo that.
And where are you seeing the most conversion or engagement? Are there categories that surprise you, or is it sort of like the adjacent products? Like you think you're going in for the Zara necklace that, you know, someone's wearing on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but actually you end up looking at all the sort of adjacent content. And
it's live sports. That's the biggest thing, is like being able to engage. We created a second screen experience for the LPGA, where you could scan the screen and find out every golfer's information almost immediately. And the shopping was secondary to that. It was more like delight at being able to check out the stats of this golfer and knowing like who her sponsors were. And then there's a gear section where you could then find out all the gear she's using and then shop it immediately.
Very cool.
So it's like not shopping forward. It's like as a part of the second screen experience, building that in, or gamification of like traders. Like that's a perfect point.
So it feels almost like content first and shopping second as a natural
people want to engage
progression.
first and then, you know, then shop, you know, as a part of that.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense. All right. So Josh, you brought up Love Island, so I'm going to ask about it. So it seems like that's been such a strong proving ground for commerce and shopping at NBCU. Can you talk about some of the early wins or success stories there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you talk about, you know, that passionate audience that I was referring to before, right? It's the #1 reality show last year. The new season just launched. And so we're just having a lot of fun with it, right? We have 11 different partners that are sponsoring it in some way, shape, or form. And we're able to create a multitude of sponsorship opportunities, but also a multitude of commerce-enabled opportunities. Almost more than half of what we're doing with Love Island this season is commerce-enabled, and that's really, really amazing. So like I said, there's a number of different executions that we're doing, but to me, my favorite thing is we simply created a Shop the Villa, right, where you can literally go in and you could either shop by brand that you know that's in the show, or you could literally shop by the islander or the contestant, right? So if you know one of them in particular was wearing, you know, a necklace, you know, a bathing suit, a whatever it is that you like, we could do that, right? You could do it for a multitude of different categories as well. We did an amazing partnership with Maybelline for their lip gloss, right? Because we created a kissing contest in the show one year. So, I mean, there's things that, again, have to be contextually relevant to what's actually happening on the screen. But we're seeing commerce executions so far early this season to be 400 times last season, and it was the #1 reality show on TV last season.
And do you think that's just about like people are adapting that and they're getting used to it?
Yeah, people, people know how to do it. It's frictionless, it's easy, and they know where to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maddie, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, a perfect example of this being even outside of just a fashion category is like when the Real Housewives go on vacation somewhere and that resort is sold out for 2 years afterwards. And then being able to take advantage of that is huge. And before the show couldn't really participate in that because they'd sort of do a freebie, you come and stay here, we'll give it to you for free. Then they have this huge add-on, but now you can actually take part in that upside.
You have a job. Come with me. Come on.
I love it. All right, so Maddie, at last Super Bowl, you previewed and you launched some things from IRCODE. Can you talk a little bit about how they've been going?
Sure. We did a live demonstration to show that we could do live sports in real time, and that had never been done before.
Terrify you?
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
But it was exciting because no one had done that before.
Yeah.
But it's similar to doing like the lower thirds on the screen with the ticker coming up and actually programming content right in it. We actually created a control board, and as someone was scanning it, we were able to then throw the content on the screen like in real time. So our ingestion system works in milliseconds. So it was able to get it, and from top to bottom, we are showing demos of the entire Super Bowl scannable in real time and everything happening all at once. People loved the halftime performer. I can't remember his name now, but his jeans. Kendrick Lamar. Sorry, yes, I should know this. Loved his jeans, and so we found it real quick, threw it up there in the lower third.
That's amazing.
And there were Celine jeans that were $1,200 boot cut.
I love that you know that detail.
I know that detail.
The jean detail, but not the performer.
Yes,
yeah. So how did the idea of doing this live and real-time reactive, what doors does that open?
Huge doors. It changes the scope of what we do on a much larger level, because imagine watching the Olympics live and then actually engaging in that, athlete who you've never heard of before, what country they're from, their background, their history, doing a deep dive, but then never taking your attention off of the screen.
Right.
So you're actually keeping people's audience there and the attention without the distraction of having to go Google something and then leaving the experience.
Can I ask, I'm just curious, like, what is the demographic of IRCODE users? Are you seeing that it's pretty split, men and women? What's the age?
Yeah, I think it's all of it. I mean, it's an ease of use.
Right.
So we
it
don't
makes
really.
sense that it's sort of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what programming it is. Like, it's the same demographic that the program is, that we're seeing the same reactions.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I want to ask about NBCU's virtual concessions and what you did with Instacart. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Maddie was saying, live sports is a great sort of domain for shoppable opportunities. And so what we did in this past year's Olympics, we started with an insight, right? We knew that 2 out of 3 Peacock viewers are actually ordering food in real time while either watching live sports or movies on Peacock. So once our commerce team sort of got this from our insights and measurement team and used that as a kickoff point, the beauty of what we can do at NBCUniversal is we can create a commerce opportunity that's part production technique and part commerce opportunity. So virtual concessions is very simple. We partnered with Instacart, as you mentioned. We created in-moment during the Olympic opportunities where Mike Tirico would be there and be like, oh, we're about to go into whatever sporting event we were about to go live on. It's like, but now is the perfect time to order. And we would put up the cart, and it would land on an Instacart landing page. And we had a number of different CPG brands, right, from ice cream to beer to, all different stuff. We did it with QSRs. And because you're doing this in real time and they're getting it delivered in real time, we get the results back from our clients. And we were getting upwards of, they were seeing spikes of 60 times what they were doing the week prior of doing that. So virtual concessions is something that's very simple in nature, but it clearly works because you have different options. People are used to last mile delivery services and doing it now. So we're rolling it out. We're rolling it out to Pay One movies. We're rolling it out to different soccer events. We're going to keep doing this in a number of different events, and I'm sure you'll see it in the Milan Olympics again, hopefully.
Very cool.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a cooking show we did a demonstration for where you could scan it, get the recipe immediately, and then with Instacart, check out with all the ingredients right in your cart of what you're going to make, and then
So
get it delivered
brilliant.
right to your house. So it's like the speed of thought you can do these things now, and the integrations are awesome.
Yeah, the Today Show does something very, very similar, and it's always a huge success for them.
Yeah, the utilitarian aspect and the time-saving aspect is really exciting. I want to talk about live events, like in-person live events. So obviously you have BravoCon coming up in a few months, right? In November? Is that
November, that's
November?
correct, yep.
Maddie, how are you thinking about how IRCODE can show up at live events and that sort of thing? And then want to hear from you how you're thinking about shopping at BravoCon.
Yeah, we're doing that. So for the LPGA event, we actually had everything there scannable. So every piece of billboard or poster or merch that the golfers were wearing, so you could actually at the live event go around and do it. The same thing with the NFL on the football side of things. I did a demo real quick just while I was at a Dolphins game, and I could see Tyreek Hill sitting there, scanned his jersey, and then immediately was able to go and buy it.
Wow.
Just with a quick link. So things like that live, and then we're talking about concerts and venues and watching your favorite concert and being able to scan all the visuals that are up there and the live performance, buy the merch, get deeper into the fan club, and just a real second screen experience.
I love that.
So live is that's sort of our bread and butter because no one can really do that.
Yep. Yeah. It's unique. And how are you thinking about commerce when it intersects with BravoCon?
Yeah, so Bravo, again, the Bravo audience is fanatical, right? So not only will they shop while watching the show in real time, but the social posts that we do to support what's going on are through the roof. But then BravoCon itself is just amazing. You have 30,000 fans that diverge into Las Vegas for a 3-day period. And what's really cool is that, as we like to call them, our Bravo celebrities, a huge number of the Bravo celebrities actually are small and medium-sized business owners themselves, right? And it's actually a huge part of a lot of the storylines of the shows, right? So brands like Loverboy or Sewing Down South are synonymous with the actual shows themselves. So what we do at BravoCon is we've created what we call the Bravo Bazaar. And it's a shopping area where you can go, and we literally mix in the Bravo celebrities brands, and there's on-site shopping there, with sponsors brands where literally right next to each other. And then the Bravo Lebs come and they do appearances at their location, and there's lines. When I tell you there's lines out the door. And I was recently talking, and I'm not going to get him in trouble, but I was recently talking to one of the Bravo celebrities, and he's like, that's actually my favorite part of all of BravoCon, because they're there because they're interested in my product, not just our show. And that's even more personal to me. So the Bravo Labs really take it to the next level, but being able to sell on air, social, in person, and surround everything is really, really powerful.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned how it supports small and mid-sized businesses. And Maddie, how do you think about that too?
Yeah, I mean, it's the ultimate way of connecting with your fan is to be able to, deliver the things that they're actually wanting and looking for. And each one of those celebrities has their own brand, and they're actively promoting it. And to give them that outlet to do it as a small business, I mean, you're creating entrepreneurs, and you're creating brands that they can then live off for the rest of their lives. So it's a noble thing at the same time as being really fun. So it's
a great way to put it.
There's so many great products that have come out of the Bravo shows that they just keep on coming too.
I think Maddie's going to go to BravoCon this year.
I am.
I'm calling it right here. He's going to be waiting in
Michelle's
line.
definitely going.
Here we got volunteers.
So I want to end on a prediction from both of you. Where do you think the technology-driven commerce space is going to be in a year? So when we're back here on this yacht in a year, what do you think the big advancements or sort of buzzwords or trends are going to be in this space?
I mean, AI is moving faster than light, and that's where it's going. We're sort of on the bleeding edge of that, riding that wave. I think it's, we still don't know how it's really going to change everything around us, but it is. And I was saying this, to Josh earlier. Our CTO Philip equates it to, someone using a regular a rake on a field, and then suddenly the tractor was invented.
Yeah.
And it's either you learn how to drive that tractor, and you could be 10 times more productive, and the things that you could do now at minutes that used to take you months.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that's what's going to change everything around us.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more about AI, obviously. And in my world, it's, again, I go back to that word frictionless. It's going to continue to get more and more not, the way you said before, everybody's watching with their phone in their hand. Yes, that's 100% true, and that's where they're shopping now, but it doesn't need to be, right? You could do it from whatever screen you're at, the big screen in your living room to the small screen in your pocket. It's going to be there. And if it's additive, and maybe these people are going to have an option, right? Do you want to watch a shoppable version of an episode or a non-shoppable version? There are things that are going to be just additive to what we're doing and completely frictionless as we move forward.
Great predictions. I look forward to being up here in a year with you. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Josh. And a big thanks to IRCODE for hosting this.
Thank you, Zoe.
Thank
you, Zoe.
Thank you, ADWEEK.
Thank you.